Hello and welcome back to Top of the Kops, right here on the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. As you can see, I already have a guest who's left the green room without any authorization, and he's found himself right in the front line of the camera. And I wouldn't have it any other way. It's Mr. Terry Flewers. How are you doing, my bro?
How you doing, mate? I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, not bad whatsoever. Guys, if you're watching the video, please like and comment. Also, share the stream onto your socials as well and tag myself and Terry as we crack on with another episode of Top of the Kop. So I can hear you asking, what have we got coming up? It's fine. I'll tell you. It's fine. We have a comprehensive football roundup, as always, where we dissect what happened with our teams, mostly Liverpool and Man United. We're also hoping to be joined later on by Matty from the Magpie channel. He's coming back from work, so we're going to be speaking about Newcastle as well. Very excited to do Terry's Matchday mixer. Really looking forward to digging into those options that he's chosen, as well as 3 huge Top of the Kops moments of the week. Like I said, please like and comment to the video as well. We can read out your questions. There's one from Roy Richards. Good evening, boys. Good to see you there, Roy. So first and foremost, Terry, if you don't know Terry already, he is the head honcho at the Football Terrace. He is a Man United fan. He makes no hiding about that. But how are you doing today, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. It's really enjoyed the last month of watching football, the Premier League football in the summer. It's although there's no crowds and whatnot, it's been quite nice. So yeah, I'm in a good space as a United fan. I'm over the trauma, the torment, the anguish of watching Liverpool become champions, and it's not as painful as I ever thought it would be. Actually, it's a bit like going to the dentist. It's, you know, you fear it all the way there, but when you're done, you think,
it's just quick.
It's right, really. It's you move on. Like, football doesn't end when you lift that trophy tomorrow night. There's another season and another season. But
mate, yeah,
it's more all for it. I look at it now as a case of Liverpool are the best team in the world. I've said it many times. You know, I think that right now.
I know you do.
So my motivation is, as a fan, let's go get them, because you topple them. It's great banter as well, rather than crying about it. You know what I mean? You push forward. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm in a good space, enjoying the football, and yeah, can't wait for more.
Good. Yeah, I mean, since we started working together, I'd say right at the start of lockdown, I think we've all kind of known that Liverpool are going to do it. But what I have to say, people, is he's a fair United fan. He does get on my tits sometimes on Twitter. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yep.
I will put that out there. But I'm sure I get on his tits as well. And listen, it's all for the rivalry. It's all for the fun of the game. Gabe McQueen with a quick one for Terry. How about we retain it next season? Well, that's what Terry's just mentioned. It's all very well being the best club in the world, but how many years can you stay at the top? And that's the real challenge. So, listen, I'm going to speak about Liverpool losing to Arsenal. Funnily enough, that was our last game. We haven't got a game till tomorrow, of course, when we play Chelsea. But what went wrong, Terry, in your eyes? I mean, I've probably spoken to you about this before, but I mean, you probably get a mistake from Alisson once a season and a mistake from Van Dijk once a season. And it looks like they've both made the same mistake in the same game, and it's cost us.
I always congratulate a team for winning a football match, and I've heard Arsenal fans talk about they're making teams, you know, they're forcing teams into mistakes as part of their process. So it wasn't a mistake so much by Liverpool; it was sort of they made it happen. I'm not buying into that notion. Liverpool, there is a question mark over them. You know, your form going into before lockdown and after lockdown hasn't been great. But at the same time, you could just be recharging your batteries, playing within yourselves, knowing that you've got a short summer off because there's going to be no sort of traditional preseason, and you're going to come back firing next year. Look, me as a Man United fan, I'm going to draw on it. I'm going to say, oh, you know, is it crumbling? Is it falling apart? But in my heart of hearts, Liverpool are going to come back with new signings for the new season, stronger than ever. This result against Arsenal, it's an anomaly. It's a nothing. If you played that game again, the amount of possession, the amount of shots, the fact they only created one chance in the whole game and scored 2 goals, which makes no sense mathematically. It's an anomaly, if that makes sense. That's all it was.
Yeah, a lot of Arsenal fans have said to me, I mean, any other day, that 6-1, 7-1 to Liverpool, the amount of chances that we missed. like you say, it was an anomaly. I think you know what kind of game you're playing in when their keeper has the most touches for them in their team. And obviously, Eni Martinez was man of the match, makes an incredible save. I mean, Leno's pretty much got now a hard task, has he not, to get back in that team when he does come back? Yeah,
I mean, Martinez has impressed me massively. Distribution, commanding of the box, and then some of the saves have been absolutely brilliant. And I'm not taking anything away from Arsenal in that game. I just feel, don't get too excited. You won 2 games on the bounce playing. What I love is, I love irony within football, and how for 15 years, Gooners have cried, moaned, and berated any team that wasn't free-flowing and attacking. Negative football, fake football, Stoke football, park the bus. And they've had their 2 best results of the season by parking the bus. And then they've all, oh no, the difference between our parking the bus, our transition's quicker than what Jose used to, mate. If you're playing low block, you're passing the bus. Like, I'm only playing with you, but it's great to sort of see. And I just love watching fans sort of switch from, it's all about attacking free-flowing football to being happy to winning games in a pragmatic way. And but that's the beauty of football, but just embrace what it is. And that's what it is right now. You're a very good team if you're compact and you don't overly attack. And that's where Arsenal are.
Absolutely. We've actually got Matty, I think. He's joining us now. Matty, all the way from Newcastle. How you doing, brother?
Hello. All right, guys. Sorry for the delay.
No worries at all, mate. Of course, Matty from the Magpie channel. Liverpool play Newcastle at the weekend, I believe. Wow, that's come around quick. Big ups to yourself. How you doing, sir? You good?
Yeah, good, mate. Busy day at work, busy day at the barbers, getting the fresh trim for the weekend. I don't know why. Changing the talk. I mean, yeah. Doing good, mate. Season's coming to an end, like you say, quickly, isn't it?
Absolutely, mate. I think I had you both on the football lockdown, really early into lockdown, and the conversations then compared to now are just 2 different worlds apart. Yeah. But we just touched on Liverpool, unfortunately, losing again to Arsenal last week. We'll move on now to Newcastle, and then we'll get on to United and what went wrong against Chelsea. I'm sure a lot of people locked in will want to know Terry's answer to that. A quick one from Jonathan Davis. I love Terry's attitude towards fake fans of clubs. What he says about being weak to banter is spot on, and many Liverpool fans need to learn this, i.e. the Ginny slander on Twitter. I am going to agree with that. Game McQueen says, how stupid was I said 3-0 Salah hat-trick. Big up David Luiz, though, well played. And then we've got some more comments here. Terry is one of the most level-headed United fans I've met online. Great stuff. So obviously Liverpool do play Newcastle at the weekend. I mean, like I was saying just then, Matty, the last time we spoke, you said to me, oh yeah, 9 out of 10, that deal, it's coming off. It's the ink's almost on the paper. I mean, unless I'm missing something, what's actually going on now?
Everyone, apart from Newcastle fans, trying to stop it. So that's why it's been delayed for so long now. Everything else has been chucked under the bridge to try and stop this deal from happening. We're still hearing that it should happen through the Premier League, but obviously they're taking their time to get it over the line, unfortunately, for all these itchy, nervous Newcastle fans. Because, I mean, the transfer window opens on Monday, the day after the season finishes. Are they really going to leave a club in limbo during a transfer window without the takeover happening? I mean, we're praying not, because we don't want to be stuck where we are at the minute.
Yeah. Difficult one. I think there is a bit of a ticking time bomb on this one in terms of getting it over the line in time. What can we actually expect from Newcastle? I mean, just the word inconsistency springs to mind. They drew 0-0 last night with Brighton, and you've had some great results this season and just haven't really picked up after. I mean, what can we actually expect from the game? Last game of the season, we've got to remember as well. Bit of a dead rubber.
Yeah, Newcastle have been treating it like the last game of the season ever since they beat Sheffield United after the restart. Like, we had one good game after the restart. Maybe Bournemouth away as well. We hammered Bournemouth, but we know Bournemouth can't back to win. Yeah. Apart from them, the players have been well and truly on the holidays and game over since then. I think the takeover is having a huge negative effect on the club. You know, you've got Matty Longstaff there not playing because he's rumoured to be going to Italy. He'll only stay probably if the takeover happens. We've got misfiring strikers. We've got the worst injury record in the league. I mean, we're missing 9 players last night against Brighton. So it hasn't helped at all. You know, Bruce is killing a fire for that, for the amount of injuries we've got, because last year in the Rafa, one of the best sides with the least injuries. This year we're by far the worst. Players picking up a few injuries left, right and centre. So to expect on Sunday is Newcastle to be negative, to be boring, probably play 5 at the back, play for a draw when there's nothing to play for. The players should be going out there, enjoying themselves, But I don't think we will. We'll see when we crashed out the FA Cup against Man City for a bizarre reason. It seems to be damage limitation. When there's, like I say, there's nothing to play for. You may as well go out there and give it your all. But yeah, just negative on a Bruce. Lots of injuries. Probably an easy win for Liverpool, I'd imagine. Terry,
did you have something to say there, mate?
Yeah, I think with Newcastle, the whole takeover situation and being safe makes this kind of. I looked at Crystal Palace. They've lost 7 on the bounce as an example. Yeah. I don't think that's a reflection of how bad they are or Roy Hodgson. You've just got these teams that know they're not going down. Newcastle also got this. I feel a bit sorry for Bruce at the same time. He knows if this takeover goes through that they're not going to be keeping him on in the long term, if that makes sense. Like, with all due respect to him, it's not happening. So, yeah, and Newcastle was people trying to stop it. It's amazing, really. I understand some of the challenges around human rights. At the same time, I've seen Santi Cazorla attacked this week for going to play football in that region of the world. And I'm sort of sitting there thinking, I've got friends that are moaning about it. And I'm like, bro, you went to Dubai on holiday last year. What part of the world do you think that is in, bro? Like, I get so confused by all people, their virtue signaling. Do you know what I mean? We can't allow this. We can't allow that. It's like, well, take a hard look at where you buy your shopping from, your clothes from, what your owners of your football club do and get up to, how they make their money, delve into the morality of all of that, and maybe then speak, because you'll find yourself probably looking like a bit of a hypocrite.
Yeah, some funny comments coming in here. Roy Richards, Matty there couldn't be asked, so he's doing the video in his car. I love it. He also said,
it's been a long day at work.
Matty TMC, too much conditioner, washed all the colour out your hair, big man. Oh, some of these guys.
Hey, mate, you got some hair, mate. I wish I could do that to my hair. If I had to do a fringe, it starts there and ends there. It's done, mate. So
my dead hamster has better finishing than Joe Linton. There's another one there from MM.
Well, that's why the hair looks like this, doesn't it? This was the result of it. I said if he scored first and then I'd dye my hair the same colour as him, and he did that. That's why the hair looks like this.
So that's actually the reason. I didn't know. Fair fucking play. I rate that very much. So, I mean, St. Maximin came back against Brighton. I saw he started that game. For me, he's the one player for you guys that we've got to look out for on the day. Do you think he'll play that game, won't he?
The one that no one stands out because it's the one player that's too good for it. Yeah, Brucey will probably play him, but he's not fit. He was last night. He had chances to run one-on-one at Brenton's defence, and he was looking for the easy pass because he's knackered. He's absolutely knackered. He's been taking injuries left, right, and centre this season, but he's been huge to Newcastle because the stat came out that with St. Maximin, if he had played every game, we would average 72 points a season with his contributions. Without him, we'd be in the bottom 3. So that tells you all you need to know about St. Maximin's impact at Newcastle.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the striking attackers there. You've got St. Maximin off the wing. You've got Atsu still there, Muto, Carroll, Dwight Gale. I'm pretty sure there's more. Joe Linton, obviously. When you look at that attacking lineup, you don't half think they've got the players there. It's just about the gelling. And I don't think up front, maybe apart from him and maybe Gale more recently, there hasn't been that kind of fluid partnership between any of them up front really this season.
No, because you've had Gale with his injuries, you've had Joe Linton played out of position, because we're playing as a number 9. He's a left forward. He doesn't contribute goals, but no idea who thought it was a wise choice to spend £40 million on him. But Newcastle, there's a lack of creativity that's so scary. Like, everything has to come through Shelby or St. Maximin, but Gale didn't get any goals in a year, but after restart, he's been a bit reborn in terms of, I think he's got 5 goals now in the 8 games that we've played, but it's still not good enough. I mean, for me, Dwight Gale, we see he's like Shearer in the Championship, in Riviere in the Premiership. He's just not good enough in the Premiership. For a team who wants to get promoted, he'll bang 20 plus, and he did it for West Brom on loan last year. You see, he's missing the FA Cup against Man City. I kind of forgive him for that.
Well, do you know what? I think there was a certain game that happened down at Crystal Palace where he scored a couple against Liverpool, but we won't go into that one, Terry. I can see you're laughing already. Right, now let's wipe that smile straight off your face. So give me a straight answer to this one, Tel. After you're sitting there watching the game on Sunday, you lose 3-1. What are your instant thoughts? Forget what your thoughts are now, but what were your instant thoughts towards Maguire and De Gea, who essentially combined and fucked up your chances of winning an FA Cup?
Well, my first thought wasn't Maguire. His own goal was unfortunate, but I didn't think he had a particularly bad game. I didn't really understand the huge attention he was getting. De Gea, absolutely. The first goal, half his fault, half Victor Lindelof. Lindelof not going with the runner, simple run.
Yeah.
Second goal, it was a pea shooter. And I'll tell you what my initial thought was, honestly, when I watched the replay back of the second goal, I thought De Gea let it in on purpose. That's how it felt. And when it just looked peculiar that his hand's there. He only has to move an inch this way. And weird. Lack of concentration. I'm not saying it's a cheat. The Maguire situation, look, Maguire is always going to get the attention for whatever reason. And yeah, it was unfortunate that he got an own goal. He had a couple of poor passes in the game that didn't go where they needed to. But listen, we got one of the best midfielders in the world who had to square 3 passes in the game, 4 yards, and they went out for throw-ins. So I'm not, for me, that where I'm coming from, I'm not one of them that's going to react in that kind of way. But equally, it was the first defeat in 20 games, and we've done very well in that point. We clawed back a 14-point gap between us and third place, which is where we're going to go tomorrow night when we beat West Ham. Perspective is needed. In that, we've got the most amount of clean sheets in Europe, 38% decrease in the goals conceded. We've improved the amount of goals we scored by about 15 in the league. We're much better team now than we were this time last year. And I don't want to go down the road of being reactionary and just throw my toys out the pram because of one really bad performance and one really bad result.
Yeah, I mean, the final day of the season looks like a big game between United and Leicester now. I think, obviously, Leicester lost the other day, which kind of handed it almost to United. I mean, what's your prediction for that one, Terry? Big game. Can United really just take Leicester out the race with this one?
Yeah, well, I think we'll beat West Ham tomorrow and we'll go into it 3 points clear. It then becomes really tricky for Leicester. They'll have to beat, it goes on head-to-head if you finish level on points. So they have to beat us by 2 clear goals. Which they're capable of doing, but it makes it more than just beating us. I think we'll beat them at their end. And this isn't any disrespect to Rodgers or anybody at Leicester. I called it in January. I said they're starting to bottle this. They're starting to fall away. Again, you get called stupid. No, they're too far in front. And they've just they really have. So we're going to win our next 2 games. I don't really care about the performances now. It's about the business end of the season is get it over the line. We'll win our next 2 games. You're going to beat Chelsea tomorrow night, meaning we're going to come third. And it's the end to then we'll have fulfilled everything I wanted us to do in the Premier League this year. Become a better footballing side by the end, and we have, and finish in the top 4. So that's what I predicted and what I wanted. So I can't be angry.
By the way, if you do lose one of your next 2 games, we've got to clip that bit up there where he's just said we'll win our next 2 games. So looking for what does Terry think about Henderson replacing De Gea next season? I feel the pressure would be too much for Dean. Sheffield is a different podium from United. I mean, Henderson, outstanding season. I do remember one mistake against Liverpool, that one he lets go under his body. But is it now time? I mean, Matty, you'll know this from having Shay Given at the club for so long. There does become a time where you look at your number 1 and go, do you know what? I think your time's up, fella.
We were surprised at how long Shay Given stuck at Newcastle. He talked fondly of the city and whatnot, and his family coming from there. That's obviously the main reason he stayed. Don't get us wrong, he had some good years in the Champions League and stuff, but when Man City came calling with all that money and their ambition, you knew there was only one way they were going to go. So you're right, there is times like that, but for me, I think Henderson can step up, although we put 3 past him a couple of weeks ago, so even Joe Linton scored past Dean Henderson.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things that you can concede goals. It's not always necessarily like the most, other than the Liverpool goal, none of them I've watched. Actually, I think he was pretty poor for Arsenal's winner in the FA Cup as well. He left his near post exposed. The problem Man United made, Fergie made this mistake at Man United. What we did was Scholes, Vidic, Rio, Neville. You can name a few, but maybe even Rooney. We held on to those players too long before bleeding in their replacements, as an example. We didn't allow enough game time. De Gea, I don't think he's done as a goalie. When I say he's finished, I'm talking finished at Man United. I think for him, a change is as good as a rest. He needs to go somewhere else. He doesn't look as motivated as he should be. And at 29, I think a goalie's past it. Though. He'll go somewhere else. This is what will happen. He'll go somewhere else and be brilliant. And if Henderson isn't so great, they'll be, he's stupid. He should have got rid of. Life don't work like that. Sometimes, we've all done this. We've all left a job where we all know in our hearts we're not giving 100%, and maybe we're slacking a bit, and we go elsewhere when we're remotivated again. That's what De Gea needs. I respect him as a United player. of what he's done for us to go and do that. The Henderson one, it is a risk. He potentially could save us £80+ million on a top-level goalie, but at the same time, he could make some mistakes. Is he going to make the volume of mistakes that De Gea has made this season? I doubt it, meaning we're in no worse situation if it doesn't work out. So I would give it a go, give him an opportunity, and just see how it goes. I mean, at some point, he has to be tested at this level. Otherwise, what's the point? So why not give him an opportunity? I mean, we did it with Ben Foster. That didn't really work. It only lasted about 5 games, and then Van der Sar had to come back in. But hopefully Henderson can do a little better.
Yeah, it's a weird one because you say, if you do bring in Henderson, you might make some mistakes. I remember very early on, was it De Gea's first game? Was it against West Brom, Terry?
Well, his first game was Man City in the league. In
the league, I mean.
Yeah, in the league, it was West Brom. Yes, I remember watching that game. Yeah. And
I remember coming back from Zante on the coach, and my mate was a United fan. This is 2011, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And he was going, this De Gea, he's going to be world-class, mate. And I was like, look at the fucking size of him. He's like a skinny little rake. There's no way he's going to. And then, obviously, I was obviously very wrong. Guys, get in your questions. Indra says, big up Terry, Matty, and Alex. Love that. We're taking questions all throughout the show. But, of course, now it is time for the pièce de résistance on this very show. It is, of course, the Matchday Mixer. Now, if you haven't seen the Matchday Mixer before, everyone now knows that we cannot go to the games. I mean, I say that I am going to Anfield tomorrow to do some socially distanced fan cams, of course. But we've all missed the match days. We've all missed the clothes that we wear, the trainers, the music, the food, the drink that we all consume on match day. So what I'm going to do is I've already asked Terry and Matty what their 5 match day mixes are, and we'll have a little chat about them as well. So I'm going to get into Terry first. He's gone for a classic Adidas jacket to wear to the game. I mean, I gave you a list there of maybe 30. Adidas jacket, very, very football-esque.
Yeah, I have to be very careful. Growing up on a council estate in the East End of London, and because of Danny Dyer, I'm very mindful of not wearing designer clothes that have labels on. Sports clothes is the only thing I do. Ever since he said the word Prada, for me, designer clothes are very chavvy where I'm from. Only chavs wear designer clothes on housing estates. And growing up, I was like, I had this big group of chavs that lived near me, and it might have been nice people, but they were just all Mizuno everywhere. Everything was it didn't even match. Voir jeans, big. Whenever I see designer,
not sure about the voir jeans.
So yeah, Adidas jacket, that'll do for me.
Sorry about that, lads. Adidas jacket, you've gone for the Puma suedes as well. I'm a big fan of Puma. I'm Puma head to toe right now. I mean, I'm always the one that maybe criticizes brand clashes, as they call them. But I think when you're going to a football game, first and foremost, you want comfort because, lads, as you both know, we can be standing in the depths of the winter sometimes and we need something to keep us warm. But I understand the combination here, Terry. Just talk us through the Puma suedes.
I like them.
Fantastic.
I like what, do you know what it is? Again, because I wear, if I'm going out, I wear like skinny jeans, but when I go in football, I kind of just wear like regular, and a lot of the other trainers I wear that don't look great with regular type jeans, so they have to kind of. Do you get where I'm coming from? They've got to go.
I feel you. Yeah.
It's
a wider set shoe, and then you've gone to. I mean, obviously, we all need to listen to some tunes that get us in the mood. Drake is your choice, Terry. He's just put out a freestyle with Heady One. I actually just listened to that a few times in the car, and I have to say that might be Drake's best verse in at least 3 years.
And I'll take your word for that in the sense of I listen to Drake's albums, but I'm not a connoisseur. There wasn't an artist on that list who, other than Drake, that I really listen to. I've got a very strange sense of. I would rather listen to Stevie Wonder, or something like Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, jazz standards, things like that. I'm a bit of an old head when it comes to music in relation to that. But Drake stuff's pretty good. I actually quite like it. It's I'll check out that new song later.
Do you know what? I was in the car there and I whacked on Chris Isaacs, and the song was called. It was an absolute banger, basically, and it's an old school one. So
I listened to what else? Again, my era. I'm from a garage era. So I recently listened to your guy. Actually, you've had him on your show, DJ Spoonie, Handy's Garage Orchestra Mix. I didn't actually come out. I'm sort of I'm a bit out of touch with that sort of thing. I stick the radio on and I've become my dad. I'm like, who's that? I recognize the song, but I don't know who sings anything. But my mate was around at the weekend and he put it on Alexa, and yeah, that was banging. So I downloaded it. That's one of the best albums I've heard in years. DJ Spoonie's Garage Orchestra mix. So yeah, anyone watching that out, it's banging.
Yeah, DJ Spoonie, big legend, a big top of the Kops favourite. And then you've gone for the lager, the classic lager. A lot of people have chosen this one, especially on a match day. I mean, last week, me and Jack Fowler were rating beers and what kind of tiers they're in. What kind of lager man are you? Because you've got right at this end of the spectrum, you've got your Carling. But then right up at this end, I'd say you've got your Peronis. So where do you sit on the spectrum? Yes,
I love a Peroni is a good beer for me. If I'm drinking pints, I stay away from Carlings. I stay away from. I mean, Foster. By the way, if you're a geezer and you order a Foster's in a pub and you're with me, we're done. We're done, bro. We ain't chatting anymore. Foster, no. Like, Foster's is what you buy a pack of Foster's when you're a 15-year-old in the park with your mates. Like, you don't do that. Don't ever do it. You don't do that when you're a geezer. Like when you're grown up, bash shandy, you can drink Foster's. Yeah, Peroni's one for me that I like. I am also partial. I do like light beers as well, though, especially on football days. So if I can have a really cold Coors Light or something like that, it just helps because I will get through maybe 10 to 15 pints on a day. So if I can keep the weight off the belly, I will.
Matty's shaking his head. We're going to get into his because we've got some great answers from Matty as well. Your last one, Tell, is the pie. Now, you can't go wrong with a pie at a football match. And I say this, whenever the pie comes up, I always say the trick is you get your pie at the start of the game, you open the cellophane a tiny bit, you put it in your pocket, and then by the time half-time comes around, it's lovely and warm and it's not too hot. So a tip for all pie lovers there. Great choices there, Tel. Really appreciate it. Now let's get on to Matty. First and foremost, big fan of this. It's the Stone Island jacket to the game. If you see the Kop TV fan cams, I do wear a Stoney when it's very, very cold, which is mostly every game, as we started it in January. But yeah, big fan of the Stone Island, mate.
Mate, to be fair, I hadn't had a Stone Island for a couple of years, and then when Terry was talking about Charles on council estate, I thought, oh, that must be me, is it? Walking around in stolen Stone Island. It's not stolen.
He's got receipts.
Left the tags on just in case. But no, I just got a nice little Stone Island body warmer. So when he sent us those questions across, I thought I'll chuck that in.
Good lad. And then the Air Force Ones. Robbie chose the same. I mean, which rapper was it? I think it was Dr. Dre that said, Air Force Ones are like a bottle of milk. You need a new pair for every time you go outside, basically. And they're just an absolute staple classic. I mean, mind you, there are comfier shoes, but these are a classic.
They are I think something like a good pair of 95s or any Nike Air Max. Get the bubble on, comfort for stand up on the weekends. But Air Force One, probably not a good shout with white trainers. But again, I just bought a pair. So when I seen the list, I just tell you what I was wearing on the day, Terry.
Well, do you know what? You say on the day, I actually had this today, and it's a Nando's. This is your... I mean, mine didn't look as good as that, to be fair. But big up to Park Royal Nando's, nonetheless. What is your Nando's order?
Double hot wrap, spicy rice, peri chips. Lovely stuff. Oh, I'm telling you, mate.
No hesitation either.
If I was on death row, that would be my last meal. I'm telling you. I
mean, I had a tamer chicken, half a tamer chicken today, which is just like barbecue chicken, basically. Then I just had garlic bread and chips, to be honest. It's quite boring, but big up to yourself for choosing Nando's. You've obviously got some tunes to listen to. Massive fan of the Cortinas. Big fan of those guys. Talk to me about why you chose them.
I think that I mainly listen to hip hop, grime, anything like that. But on that list, I was close to choosing Drake. Not gonna lie, but when I seen that, it was just in the mood. I think that's the kind of music that gets you in the mood, innit? Like good old British indie. If you're traveling to Chase-Moor. Do you know what I mean? That's the kind of thing you want to listen to. Like
Mr. Brightside on the way down to the Britannia, that kind of thing. Love it. And then you as well have gone for the lager. I mean, I hope Terry didn't offend you with his comments on the beer. I hope you don't say Foster's now after he said that.
Nah, I didn't like, but Foster's for me is in the same category as Coors Light, just pure piss water. Like you need something strong, loads of flavour. I like a craft beer. I mean, something tropical, fruity. Brewdog.
Brewdog.
Yeah,
like a Brewdog. Definitely, I'm a fan of Brewdog. I mean, like Tell, I lean towards a Peroni if they've got one. If they haven't got that, I'll take a San Miguel. And if they haven't got that, yeah, I'll probably just leave the pub, to be honest. But yeah, that was the lads' matchday mixers. Big fan of those. One of the best two we've had on the show so far. Another great part of the show, I think, it's the Would You Rather section, where we ask our guests 2 questions and they have to tell me what would they rather, and also some very good reasoning behind their choices as well. We're going to start off with Terry. So would you rather beat City 6-0 and finish 5th, or lose 6-0 and make the top 4?
Lose 6-0 and make the top 4.
So you take the L at home. I mean, you've already lost 6-1 at home to them, so you take the 6.
You beat 6-0, but I'm in the top 4. I mean, if I beat them 6-0 and we finish 5th, it's all for nothing.
It's true, but you might get a good bloody game out of it, Tel.
Yeah, I'm more about winning the war rather than the battle always. But yeah, I'd lose. I've said before, I'd lose all my big games to my rivals if it meant we win what we want to win. If that makes sense, like that's not the important bit. Winning the trophy is.
Yeah, of course. Quickly then to Matty. Now this is you choose one or the other. Now this is considering the fact that you are yet to be taken over and the funds might not quite be available just now. But the owner comes in, he goes, right, I can get you Coutinho and Jimenez or Bale and Grealish. 2 very close options there. What are you going for as a Newcastle fan?
It's a shame I can't mix them up, because
you can't mix them up. That's the rules, Matty. The rules are there for a reason. Can we all abide by them? Thank you.
We need a Jimenez, but I'll have to go for Bale and Grealish. If we got Grealish, build a team around him, and then Gareth Bale, the superstar signing, we'd be dreaming, wouldn't we? We'd be laughing. Yeah,
I don't know though. Right now, the informed player out of all those 4, I would say, is Jimenez. Bale probably hasn't played for Real Madrid for some time, as we can all see where his head's at with the celebration videos, or lack of celebration videos. Grealish is still on the up, but Villa look like they're going down. Terry, if you were a Newcastle fan, what 2 are you going for?
I'd go for Coutinho and Jimenez based on the fact that Bale's a crock. Like, he seriously is. His body's finished. He'll have great games, but you're not getting 30 games a year out of him. And then obviously you can't have Grealish, you don't pick in Bale. But Coutinho will come back to the Premier League. Coutinho is better than Grealish, and they play relatively similar positions. And then Jimenez, he'll score you goals. And you boys at Newcastle, you haven't had a top striker since Shearer, which is a long time now. So he'd come in. He's never going to be Shearer, but he'll come in and score you 20 league goals with someone like Coutinho feeding him. So I'd go with the first option myself.
Yeah, I think that's quite harsh. You've obviously had Michael Owen there, who's a great striker. It's great, really, to be in those sort of conversations. But sure, I'll be for me, number 1. Always will be. Right, let's get into the top of the Kops moments of the week now. These were actually videos, but if we played them, we get copyrighted. So it's actually quite unfortunate that we can't. And I just need to double check, sorry about this, lads, that the producers put them in. He hasn't so far. So we won't be doing that. No worries at all. But listen, one of them was David Luiz's post-match interview, where he actually, I think, Terry, gained a bit of respect again from the Arsenal fans after getting such a tough time from them. Obviously, the fallout around his contract. But he came out in that interview, and you have to say, like, he had a good game.
Yeah, the thing with David Luiz is he's always done this. He'll always go through periods where he looks like one of the best defenders in the league, and I don't think anybody sort of denies that. The problem then is he'll go through then a little stage where he is awful and really, really poor and quite comical in that way. And he's got a bit better as he's got older. But yeah, for me, it's Arsenal fans. Arsenal fans are like all of us. We can all go 1 minute from sort of kicking off at a player that they're rubbish, they're poor, they're crap, they're no good for us. They can have 3 or 4 good games, and suddenly they're our best mates. They're amazing. They're brilliant. Look at the Arsenal fans are singing Granit Xhaka's praises again now, and it was only a few months ago that they never wanted to see him wearing the shirt again. So no, look, David Luiz, good player, no better than that overall.
Yeah, I think I remember a specific member of AFTV saying he never wanted to see him in an Arsenal shirt again, but I won't mention who said that. Another moment here, which is top of the Kops. This is one for Terry. This is Alex Lindegaard scoring an incredible header for his team in Norway. I don't know if you've seen this clip. I mean, Lindegaard was probably third choice, second choice keeper back in maybe 2010. He ends his career back in Norway. And I tell you what, it's one of those moments in football when the keeper scores, especially in the last minute to get an equaliser. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, I always say, like, you always want to win a game 3 or 4-0 and it be comfortable and you enjoy it, but you can't beat those last minute moments. And if it's your goalkeeper scoring the winner, imagine like you need to score a goal to stay up and your goalie goes up the other end and banged it in his head. It's just it's so historic and romantic. Yeah, it's amazing.
The last moment of the week for the top of the Kops, top spot this week, is the Brackley Town player who scored from his halfway line in the semi-finals of the Vanarama North playoff. I don't know if you guys saw this, but he was 1-0 down Brackley. I think they're playing Gateshead, Matty. And he gets the ball from the kickoff and absolutely belts it straight into the top corner with no dip. It just goes like that into the top corner. And it's some strike. And I wish I had the video to play you both, but unfortunately I don't. But that takes the top of the Kops moment of the week. We'll take some questions from you guys now for the lads as I ask them a couple of questions. But in the meantime, do get your questions in to the comment section. Just a quick one, lads. In the thumbnail to this video, you can see that they've been preparing the Kop to have some sort of trophy presentation tomorrow. I mean, obviously, it goes without saying that we'd rather have, a situation where we can all enjoy it inside the stadium. This is the best we're going to be able to do tomorrow night. Terry, I mean, I'm going to the ground tomorrow to see what I can film, and obviously there'll be fan cam action. But if you were a Liverpool fan, I mean, it's hard to say it because I am one, but if you were a Liverpool fan, you'd be pretty gutted with that tomorrow night, wouldn't you? Even though what I'm hearing is they are spending £1 million on a pyrotechnics and lightning show, but it's not the same, is it, Tel?
No, and it will take away from it a little bit. Like, you're still going to love it and enjoy it. And if I take my Man United hat off, it's really unfortunate that they're not going to get to celebrate it. But you know what? There have been people that have got married this summer whose family haven't been able to go there, and in far more emotive sort of occasions that people can't attend. So it's just one of those things that we all have to sort of deal with. And I'm sure that Liverpool have a parade and do everything a little bit later on in the year when they're able to. You just got to probably hope that your form's good, because if you start the season poorly, no one's really going to feel like a parade for last season, if that makes sense. True. It is unfortunate, true. But dropping £1 million on that fireworks display, they'll enjoy that, and I'm sure everyone's going to have a good drink again tomorrow night and whatnot.
Yeah, Matty, I mean, it's not the most ideal way to finish off in the last home game of the season. What's your prediction for Liverpool-Chelsea tomorrow? Because we had Amy on the show yesterday, and she said she can still see Liverpool winning. I said, I just hope that we don't take our foot off the gas, because there'd be nothing worse than losing at home to Chelsea, which would be the first loss at Anfield for how many years, or even drawing, and then pick up the trophy. I guarantee Klopp won't drink as many beers if we lose. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it would dampen the mood, like you say, wouldn't it, if you didn't carry on? Like, it's not like you need the points, but it's just for the atmosphere, for the party vibe. But for me, I'd probably say it's going to be a good old Desmond. I think it's going to be 2-2.
2-2.
I think Chelsea are on a bit of an up on there after that FA Cup win. I hope you do win them. I hope you steamroll them, but so you can get it all out your system and you can have a good party and you're hungover for Sunday, because we'll need it.
Yeah, that's why Matty wants us to win. That's it. Right.
Tactics.
Spend all your beans on Wednesday and buy a Sunday. We'll get slumped. A couple of questions coming in. How does Terry feel? A great question this is, about having 3 nemesises next season. Liverpool City, and now the mighty Leeds United back in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's great. Like, these kind of games are brilliant. And when I lived in Manchester for a number of years, I got more accustomed and taught more about those rivalries from a historic point of view. And you shared that brilliant documentary that Liverpool made about the United Liverpool sort of Merseyside Manchester kind of rivalry, and it's well worth a watch for people. Like, I'm sure you'll share it again at some point.
Yeah, well, unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm well up for it. Like, these games are massive, and you throw in the fact that you've got all the top 6 clashes and those games. You start adding that up, it's almost half the league. Do you know what I mean? You're getting like 6 or 7 teams, like big rivals. That's half, which means there's big games
every week,
nearly all the time. So yeah, I'm always up for that, and it's good for the channel as well, and good for the content when you've got big matches.
Yeah, I mean, I've got one of my best mates is a Leeds fan, and he's got a tattoo of Leeds on him, and he's been in my ear for years saying we're going to come back. He's finally back, and it's funny. I was at his wedding last year. I did a little speech, not the best man speech, as a little separate speech, and I said, let's all raise a glass here to the team that begins with L, the team that we all know and love, with a really quirky European manager, great English history. And they're all thinking I'm going to say Leeds. And I say, make some noise for the European champions, Liverpool. But then I just get booed off, basically. Would Gerrard be ready for Liverpool job in 2024? Unfortunately, Klopp hinted he's leaving then. I had this same chat with a mate yesterday. The word Gerrard shouldn't really be involved in the conversation unless it's worthy. We've seen that he's done okay with Rangers so far, but just because he's called Steven Gerrard, in my book anyway, doesn't mean he just gets a pass into Anfield when Gerrard's left. I think if you were going to do that, you'd maybe look to bring him in as his assistant coach for a year. If that bleed and that transition was going to happen, that would make sense. But I just want it to go to the best man who's safe and fit for that job. It doesn't matter if it's Steven Gerrard or not. It would be a fairy tale, much like Frank Lampard, but it's all about timing, and we'll have to see. I can't guarantee anything, not that I have a say in these things. But lads, one more shout out to you both. Thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Talk to us about what kind of content you're putting out from now until the end of the season. Terry and Matt, I know that you're always putting videos out on your channels.
To cover the absence of fan cams, we're doing them just like this on StreamYard. We're doing live watch-alongs, which we've started doing. That I've done really well, because obviously normally we do Matchday vlogs. Unfortunately, can't do that at the moment. And then we're doing the typical fan TV stuff, player ratings, match review, any news, lots of takeover stuff, which unfortunately hasn't materialised yet. But hopefully it will once the transfer window is closed. Yeah, all things Newcastle United and delve into other stuff as well, mainly Premier League stuff. So make sure you head over and check out the Magpie Channel TV. And
do you know what? When I can and when it's safe to, when Liverpool come up to Newcastle next season, I'm sure we'll have a little link up and have a beer, and it'll be great to 100%. Finally meet you up in your hometown. Terry, what about yourself, bro?
Yeah, I mean, more of the same. Obviously, we cover all the top 6 primarily. So either watch-alongs or live. We've been doing these new stuff. We go live for about 3 hours now after games with just multiple fans from different clubs, and it's carnage, but it's great fun. So we're doing that. Of course, we cover a lot of the transfer news as well in relation to the top 6 clubs, amongst other things. So yeah, check out the Football Terrace. 3 or 4 uploads a day from myself and numerous other contributors over there. Wow. So yeah, come across. We're near, almost close as well to 140,000 subs. So happy days.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I was actually on one of those carnage kind of shows that you speak about last week, and I'd had a few beers, but that was a funny show. I was like, hang on, Terry, isn't this a Liverpool show? Because they had United and Chelsea in there. I was like, what's going on?
Really, it's kind of happened more by luck than judgment, but maybe it's growing up in London where you go to a school and there'd be, you have your 10 mates, but you can actually all support 10 different teams from across the UK. London is just like that. So I've always tried to do that now with the channel, where it's just, I've grown up my whole life talking Man United with Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, lots of Newcastle fans in my age group in London, because Newcastle are a really good team in the early mid-90s. So we all just like bantered each other every day. And I think for some fans outside of London, that's not a normal thing, or wasn't. But yeah, so yeah, it's going quite well at the moment. The shows are doing really, really well, good traction and really good growth. So happy days.
Absolutely. Listen, lads, big up to yourselves one more time. Much love for coming on, and I'll see you both very soon.
Cheers.
Love, mate. Cheers.
All the best. Guys, don't forget, on the Kop TV tomorrow, we are finally releasing It Means Everything, that classic kind of movie that I've been harping on about for the last 3 weeks. It's a slow-mo kind of emotive one that sums up the feelings around winning the league title for the first time in 30 years. So that's coming out tomorrow. Of course, like I said, I'm going to be at Anfield tomorrow night, or at least outside the ground, or as close to the ground as I can get in a safe manner, to do the fan cam straight after the Chelsea game. And then we'll probably have some kind of footage, if we can, of just the general goings on in and around the ground. like I said at the start of the show, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers just before the end of the season, so help us do that. Of course, like and comment on the video too. I hope you've enjoyed yet another edition of Top of the Kops right here on the Kop TV with myself. We also featured on BBC Sport today, which is over on the Instagram, so go and check that out too and leave your comments. But yes, I can finally have a breather and say that yes, tomorrow is the day that Liverpool lift the Premier League trophy. It sounds good, doesn't it? I'm smiling already. I can't wait to go up there tomorrow. Listen, get in touch with the channel. Send us from where you're going to be watching the game from tomorrow. And I will see you then for the day that, like I just mentioned, if I haven't mentioned it already, we're lifting the Premier League trophy tomorrow. Okay, cheers. All the best.